The Movie Preview Critic. Informing and entertaining your movie world.
What's up, good movie lovers? Welcome to the Box Office Breakdown, where at the beginning of each week, the box office numbers of the most recent movie weekend are decoded, and hopefully, the movie truth is revealed. Opening weekend numbers are what determine the future of Hollywood, from a surprise indie hit to a big piece of These numbers create ramifications for the careers of the filmmakers, especially the director, actors, and writers. So let's take a look at the numbers and figure out what this means for the movies and for us, the cash-paying audience that keeps the wheels of the monolithic entertainment machine greased. With the box office numbers in for the weekend of February 6th through the 8th, there's only one thing left for us to do.
Break it down.
So the number one movie this week with over $27 million was He's Just Not That Into You. Of the 5 movie weekends so far this year, that's the second biggest opening behind Paul Blart's $39 million. But even though this weekend was packed with 5 new releases, you just had a feeling that this movie was going to be number one. Not because it looked like some amazing, groundbreaking, genre-revolutionizing filmmaking tour de force. Nope, it's number one because it's almost Valentine's Day, and that means a collective required expression of love for that special person in your life, which usually leads to roses, candy, and some kind of movie, most likely romantic comedy or horror movie. Next week, the real Valentine's Day weekend, Friday the 13th, the remake comes out, and that's definitely going to be number one. So even though He's Just Not That Into You is based on the mega best-selling book promoted on the Oprah show, the studio was too afraid to go up against The Man in the Mask. What really gives this movie its strong box office is that it's the only relationship comedy film currently in theaters. That audience demographic has been waiting at least a couple months for something like this. And it's kind of strange, because why would a movie based on a book that reveals all the emotional tricks men play on women make a great date movie? Seems like it would be an anti-date movie. Like if you're on a blind date and you know the other person isn't right for you, take them to see this, and they'll be looking for all the signs that you're a cheater, or a commitment phobe, or a player. If you're just trying to hook up with someone, why take a chance and get them thinking about how you treat them? Talk about a mood killer. This movie actually might be the best for couples thinking about taking that next step in their relationship, because it makes each person think and ask questions. And if a relationship can't withstand the answers to those questions, then maybe it's time to move on. Or maybe this movie just stripped away all the ballsy common sense philosophy that made the book fresh and interesting. The preview does make it seem like it's playing it safe and avoiding addressing any real relationship challenges. In the end, whether the movie stayed true or changed the material that it's based on, it's already made back its $25 million budget, and will probably add on another 15 to 20 million next weekend. And I doubt this will be the start of some ensemble romantic movie craze. If that was going to happen, it would have started in 2003 when Love Actually was a hit. The only effect we can count on will be that H-Wood will continue buying up more successful properties that have been proven in other media, which is nothing new. In second place, Taken continues to take in the big dollars. I'm sorry, did I just do that? Doesn't it bother you when news reports play on words like that? It's like, the movie's called Taken. How can I create a pun and work it so that it seems like I'm witty? So sorry about that, guys. Anyways, Liam Neeson continues to take out the competition. Did I just do it again? With 20 more million for a total of 53 after just 2 weeks. Good for Liam and Luc Besson. Great to see some filmmaking talent receiving some popular success. In third place, Coraline makes a strong debut, making about 16 million. Not too bad considering it's in about 900 less theaters than He's Just Not That Into You and Taken. It's easily the most original and ambitious movie released so far this year. With about 4 years of production from start to finish, it's a total labor of filmmaking love. Not just churned out to bring in big dollars, but to challenge the medium of cinema, taking it to new places. It's basically The Nightmare Before Christmas meets Alice in Wonderland, and besides great visuals, it seems to have some good spirit and heart. With a budget of $35 million, it looks like it should make that back before it leaves theaters. But don't look for stop motion animation to blow up in popularity. If The Nightmare Before Christmas couldn't create that craze in the 90s, then it's not going to happen now. But let's hope that projects with passion, creativity, and imagination continue to get the green light. In these stale filmmaking times, we desperately need them. And then there's number 4, Pink Panther Part 2. Now, I don't want to rain on people's parades. If this brand of comedy makes you laugh, then great. Don't let anyone tell you any different. Defend your passion and don't second guess your instincts. It's just that, for me, I didn't laugh at the whole hamburger thing in the first movie, as well as a lot of the other jokes. But that's just me, I guess. Because the movie made $140 million worldwide. And it became obvious, the minute it broke the $100 million mark, you knew the cameras were going to start rolling on the sequel. The original made $20 million opening weekend. Part 2, disappointingly, made only 12 in over 3,200 theaters, the most of any movie currently in release. That's horrible news for everyone involved. Look for it to make about $20 to $30 million before it leaves theaters next month, making it a total flop. But because it has Aishwarya Rai Bachchan, one of India's most popular Bollywood stars, look for it to have a decent worldwide gross. But hopefully, that won't mean a part 3. In 5th place, Paul Blart inches closer to the $100 million mark by making $11 million. Look for the movie to be in theaters at least another 3 weeks. In 6th place is Push, the X-Men Heroes Fringe wannabe leftover. With a budget of $38, it makes a wimpy $10 million this week. The poor box office is a hopeful sign that audiences know an unoriginal story when they see it. Look for this to be gone from theaters within the next 4 weeks. All the actors here are young enough in their careers to shake off this poor box office performance. But if Chris Evans or Camilla Bell were looking to increase their Hollywood stock with this one, then mission not accomplished. Dakota Fanning is actually up against herself this week in the box office. She voices the main character in Coraline, and it looked like she's going to be in the Twilight sequel New Moon. So for the time being, her career is on the right track. But thankfully, in the end, it looks like Push 2 won't become a reality. The last new release of this week is Fanboys, the road trip comedy about a group of Star Wars geeks who in 1998 are motivated by their friend's cancer diagnosis to go break into the Skywalker Ranch and steal a copy of The Phantom Menace. This movie has a long production history. It was supposed to be released in August of 2000, but after positive screenings to George Lucas and Kevin Smith, the director was given more money to add extra scenes. A bunch of reshoots and a controversial decision to change directors later, the release date was delayed, and the movie was recut and re-edited until finally it came out this week. For good movie lovers, there's a great story here about the spirit of the movie versus the machinery of Hollywood. The original vision of the movie had the cancer storyline, where the reason for the road trip is the dying friend who loves Star Wars. When there was a director change, the new director wanted to take that out and replace it with more raunchy comedy. This is the type of market research-based thinking that hurts Hollywood filmmaking. The idea is that we can't handle mature ideas or deal with larger themes other than wanting to get laid, drink beer, and do drugs, especially younger viewers. But these themes and ideas are like seeds of growth for humanity. We need these to be in movies so we can think about them and let them grow in our minds and our souls. These little explorations of our existence are important to have in our stories instead of just pure stimulus. Stories that don't have these elements are like genetically modified fruits without seeds. How is it possible to get our nourishment and then grow food for future generations if the food we eat have no seeds to offer? It's short-term thinking. Same thing for stories. How can we become better people and inspire future generations if the people we watch on screen have no depth? Thankfully, the original director's vision won out, and the movie has been released with the cancer storyline. Now the big challenge comes in. Even though we're in the middle of the geekish chic revolution, the studio still feels there isn't a big enough audience for this story, so they're rolling it out slowly. This week it premiered in only 44 theaters, but the per-screen average was almost $4,000, and that's what the studio's looking at. If the numbers stay high on a per-screen average basis, the movie will slowly roll out to more theaters. It made $164,000, but its budget is only $8 million. So while it has a long road to wide release and making its budget back, it can happen if the per-screen averages stay strong and it does move to more theaters. But here's the thing, the delay of the release has hurt the movie. If it was released 2 years ago, it might have caught the end of the 2005 Revenge of the Sith momentum. But now, 4 years after the last major Star Wars release, with the Clone Wars CGI Star Wars film not counting, do people care about Star Wars enough to see a movie filled with references and homages? And didn't Kevin Smith burn us all out on that? Next week is the do or die time for this movie. If it doesn't go wider, that means it'll have to go to DVD within the next month or so and hopefully find an audience that takes it to cult status. Until next week, remember, the movie future is in our hands. Hollywood gives us more of what we pay for, so choose wisely, and as always,
long live good movies.